Cool story, bro. No one cares.
You gotta get them AR glasses type shit.
I would, bro. I slick want a pair. Those shits look so cool. My boy has them, and he swears by them for plane rides. I was so self-conscious about sitting in my seat. Just looking.
Bro, that's why you gotta get the ones with the little guards on them so they can't see what you're doing on your shit. It just looks like you got glasses on the plane.
Well, funny thing is, I don't mind like them seeing what I'm doing. I'm afraid to look like Stevie Wonder.
You just like looking into the sky. You're like, yo, what's bro doing? That yo, he's playing Hades too, bro.
Just smiling, bobbing my head left and right. What's wrong with this fucking guy?
Yeah, we got some dubskis today, boys. Tight shit. All right. I guess not. Good buddy.
I've been muted the whole time. My bad, bro.
I've been muting the whole time, huh?
Die. I mean,
I kind of look like Kendrick Lamar.
Nothing amazing happens here. Everything is ordinary.
Bang! Fuck. Can we talk about how the Lakers are the best team in the league right now? Say shit. Hey.
Oh man, I needed this.
Hey.
Nothing amazing happens here.
Dude, my game looks fucking deep fried, bruh. This is pissing me off.
Playing on the L station?
Yeah. I don't want to be that guy, but it looks like it might be my Elgato. There's a problem here.
That can't be the case. Better figure that shit out. Something wrong on your end, bucko.
Let me restart OBS.
You damn right you will.
Down, banana, bow, bow.
Type shit.
Type shit.
Oh, right,
Type shit. Oh, there we go. It's back.
Yo, chat.
Yo.
Go on Spotify right now. Look up the song "Take Care" by One Day. Sorry, One Day by Take Care.
Man, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that one day. Lord Melvin.
Kind of weird type shit.
All right. Code thought it was a good one.
Nigga, I had no aura.
Yeah, but who cares what Code thinks?
What?
Damn, fried that little nigga up. That's
Yo, Code, we get on the S25 Ultra in a couple weeks. What's good?
Nerds.
Ain't that your viewer, bro?
Yeah, we both getting one.
Nothing amazing happens.
Social has to about his life and shit.
Everything is ordinary.
Yeah, you're right, man. I lost so much orb. I need to kill myself.
Oh, thanks for the resubs, fellas.
Wait, what? You live?
Yeah.
You just go live?
Yeah.
Wait, it's January. This means we should be getting the Switch 2 reveal sometime soon, right, guys?
Yeah, I got it right now.
Oh, where?
That might be the thing I'm looking forward to the most in gaming right now, honestly.
Yeah, I need that.
I got a Switch 2, nigga. Run your shit.
Damn, okay. YN Valentine.
The nigga I grew up with just got arrested for having a Switch.
Damn.
That's tough. Free the bro.
Yeah, free him, bro. He ain't this
That
shit.
should be crazy. That should be crazy when I be going to school with niggas and then like I see in the news that they like dead like murder 3 niggas type shit. I'm like, oh fuck.
Bro, the one
bro, we live in Quahog. You don't need to be doing all that.
There was this.
Free twin.
I ain't gonna say the nigga name, obviously, but it was definitely a nigga I went to school with. We was never like friends or nothing, but we knew who each other were. You know, we were acquainted. And he was not the type of individual you would have expected to get arrested for murder, but he like tried to rob some old dude, killed him in the process, and then end up killing himself ultimately. But like, it just,
damn,
it's just
some dude I used to work with got fucking murdered in some like drug related gang shit or whatever the fuck. I was like, damn, bro, we sold printers. What the fuck?
You sold printers.
There's, hold on, this next one I can't say on stream because it probably revealed too much, but I'm gonna type it in this chat.
Damn, the Swiss Army knife coming out of retirement. What
Hi,
the
shit.
fuck? The Swiss, I'm gonna stab some niggas.
What?
With the Swiss Army knife. You wouldn't get it.
What up, Aiden Scooby? Say shit.
Who's bro talking to?
Not bad. Voices.
Think you a streamer or some shit?
I'm trying to be like Kai, bro.
Yo, bro, what if we started streaming?
Damn. Yo, Lotus, that's crazy.
Yeah, this shit is, and again, not something I ever would have expected her to be involved with.
What the fuck?
Dang, that's crazy as hell.
That is fucking wild.
Yeah, I remember I had a nigga I grew up with who like he's product of his environment type shit, but I never like he was in a rough area, but I never knew him to be in no bullshit. And then like as an adult, I remember reading the news one day and like I had been moved from this area, but in just randomly, like I was still close to it, but like I wasn't from where I was like grew up at type shit. But like in the new city I was in, I checked the news, and this nigga tried to rob an old man in a Walmart parking lot. Like he was in his car, waiting for him. Bro, the gun he had was fake.
Yo.
And the nigga he tried to rob had a gun.
Oh nah.
This older white dude.
You can't be doing that shit in Texas, nigga. What are you, dumb?
Bro, he drew down on him, and then the nigga was like, all right. And the other nigga drew down. He's like, oh shit, my shit not real. And the dude just held him in the car until the cops came. And I was like, wow. This nigga was a good kid. He lost his mind, though.
Hey, Lotus, bro, you can come up, bro.
I'm not gonna hold you, nigga. If I knew. I'd
have murdered like 5 niggas myself.
Oh.
Chat. Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm doing. Hold on.
Cold-blooded shit. I need a squad invite. I'm not even gonna warm up, bro. I'm going straight to jump shots.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like bro, join the fucking lobby, boy.
It's a lot of niggas I know.
Like when you talk to me like that.
It's a lot of niggas I knew from high school that are dead or in jail at this point. There is a neighborhood that I drive by fairly often, that is named the same name as the last name of somebody that I grew up with and went to middle school and high school with that was murdered a few years back. So every time I pass by, I think of him and his son, who was only like 2 years old when he died or something.
Damn.
It's honestly a dark way to start the stream. My fault. Let me turn the lights on.
I just turned my camera off. Turn the camera off. Turn the camera off. Man, I look like Balvin, bro. When the ugly motherfucker call you twin.
You did so much I couldn't process it. Damn, bro. Like the book, they look like the Brazzers me.
All right, Chad. If we lose this game, I'm banning 5 people.
Bro, I'm Hall of Fame rank, so I look like a demon. I'm not him. I'm not nice. Oh shit. Damn, wait.
Now they setting screens, bro. This fake ass Joel Embiid out of here.
Then we're in this season still. I played on this season.
It ends in like 4 days.
Got you. Oh, this was the beginning of December to start it. You're the wrong button. Oh my god, my bad, goat.
Hey!
Oh, you did exactly what I thought you were gonna do, and I still pressed the wrong fucking button.
Yo,
It's not okay.
That's just not a basketball play they just made.
Body
right. Carry us up.
Can't say that.
Wait, I can't? Isn't it a free country?
Not for your kind. Man, I'm
Bang
back.
time.
Oh. Switch timing very late. Oh man, that nigga is not back. Oh.
I did not
Wait,
watch solo leveling.
That was very late. Oh man, I don't know what shot I have on. I should have went to the fucking.
Cook Yoshi.
Oh, certainly it's I know you're not talking. I know they who I think it is.
So you shoot, Balvin. Damn it.
that is how I shoot. That was a great impersonation. You low-key
That's how you
fried.
shoot, Balvin.
You low-key getting fried right
Oh,
now.
my controller's doing the fucking thing.
I'm breaking this nigga off on the off ball, by the way. No way. Good block. I could have.
I can't control myself. Bang! Go.
I want you to know that I got loose ball for that rebound you got.
What a steal.
Like
Transition.
I lost grade for you getting that rebound because it said I lost the ball.
Damn.
You don't care.
Damn, that's tough, bro. Nah, I do care so much, bro.
Nah, it's all good.
My fault.
You think it's weird to share a bed with a cousin or a good friend on a trip? Gotta do what you gotta do.
I was trying to set a screen to you.
As long as y'all. Damn, I was gonna say some freaky shit. Damn, bro, you ain't got that?
Where's my center?
Damn, bro, you don't got that? Right.
No, it's 2 niggas down there.
But you had that. My fault.
Both bigger than me, you big bitch. Big for nothing ass niggas. They got pink dress with DDG.
Hell yeah, pink dreads type shit.
In a month of time, I'll be on.
Why me?
Classic low power lineup right now. What's that? Excuse me. Ooh. Come on, cut. Guess you can't cut, can you? Oh, wow. I got it.
Go.
Hey!
What's my assist?
I mean, I personally, especially at my grown age, am not really sharing a bed with anyone that is not my girl. But I mean, depends on the situation, I guess. Like, I'm not judging anyone for doing it, but I would rather sleep on the floor on the couch than share a bed with like one of my niggas, because it's just.
I bet. Keep that in mind for any future plans that I had.
Hell nah.
Crazy ass shot.
But if you have a hotel and go into a convention, I mean, personally, I'm fortunate enough to be in a position that whenever I go on trips, I always have my own hotel or Airbnb.
Good shot, Michele.
Nasty.
First, I'd rather sleep on the floor. I don't think sleeping on the floor is that crazy.
Hashtag athletes know about the floor sleeps. Going from school, I don't want to shower, but I want to sleep. I'm me floor tonight.
Bang time. All right.
Not.
Blocked. Let's go.
I know my role. I would have bust that shit, but I do not know what jump shot I have on right now.
All right.
You tried to
All
switch,
right.
and I appreciate it. But you started doing the Dougie instead.
Oh,
wow.
my God, what a shot.
Plus 100 aura, not gonna lie.
Supposedly, when you got the right setup, I mean, honestly, you just set down like 2 or 3 blankets on the floor and get you a pillow, you'd be straight. I speak from experience. Actually, yeah, the last time I like legitimately had to do that was when we went to Anime NYC. I slept on the floor when we went to me, Omega, Afro, Toasty, all of us went to New York and shit.
That makes a lot of sense what just happened to me.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We had a decent B&B, but there was a lot of us, and I slept on the floor there. I didn't have my own room. I was also at a time where I was making significantly less money, so I contributed less to that B&B than everyone else. So I was like, I'll take whatever, you know. I'm in a position now where I'm like, hey, I'm gonna put this much down, this room is mine, but it wasn't like that back then.
Over the back, bitch. Please, God.
Good shot.
Legendary dimer.
It's still Lord Belvin.
Good steal, Lord Balvin. He dunking that. He passing that. He shooting that. Bang.
Hall of Fame dimer.
shot.
I feel like the internet made everything sus, so it could be that too. The internet has done irreparable damage to the minds of many people who aren't even aware of how fucked in the head that they are now. Actually, I just read a book on this, the very thing, very subject. I highly recommend it. It's I have it right here. It's called The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. How the great rewiring of childhood is causing an epidemic of mental illness. I don't know how many of you guys are big readers, but if you're looking for any new material, I highly recommend it.
Good shot.
How'd you come across that book? So as you guys know, I'm a big fan of basketball. Long story short, I heard about it on a podcast. And I decided to check it out for myself because I've been wanting to get back to reading more books that aren't just manga.
Oh!
Oh my god.
Yo, that was nasty.
Bro.
What a spin.
Fuck.
But yeah, I heard it get mentioned on a podcast, and it deals with a lot of subject matter that I've spent a lot of time these last couple of years thinking about. And honestly, it covers things that we've talked about on this stream. What the fuck? I had no control over my player there for a second. And so yeah, once I found out like what the subject matter was, I was like, you know what? It sounds like something I'd like to read. I actually spent the other night reading that book start to finish. Like once I picked it up, I did not put it down for basically like 7 hours straight.
Hey.
Yeah, call timeout,
bitch.
They need a timeout.
It's called The Anxious Generation, How the Great Rewiring of Childhood is Causing an Epidemic of Mental Illness.
I think they fixed like the full court passes, by the way.
Hey.
I feel like I'm throwing darts now.
Reading sharpens the mind. That's why I want to get back into reading books, because I feel as though my mind has dulled. I think that when I was in school, and I guess that's obvious, right? But when I was a teenager, I felt like my mind was a lot sharper and my thinking was a lot clearer. I could articulate myself better. It was easier to communicate. And
hey, that's a goat. Sorry.
I felt like lately my mind hasn't been as clear or as sharp as I want it to be. So I figured reading would help me get back to that.
Good shit.
And that AI player
around that quarter.
That AI player caught that ball on the run like he's gonna do some shit. Wow! Now that nigga caught a crazy, so I thought he was gonna go coast to coast.
He was like, "This is my time. This is my time."
he was fast as hell.
It's not creative enough to imagine stuff in my head. Well, this is a nonfiction. It's not like a story. It's more like a. It's by a psychologist who's also a college professor at NYU who has done a lot of research. Like, it's not about like a character or anything. Like, it's just like real life.
Hey. Oh my, yo, hold on. Can we queue up with this AI again, bro?
Nick kind of nice. Good defense. Oh my god, yo.
Come on now,
yo. That entire sequence was I swapped to his man. You blocked that, my guy. I got the board. UD slam dunk. It's just textbook.
Also, to you guys in this call, I actually think, not that I expect any of you to do so, but I think if you were to ever read this book, you'd find it really intriguing. You know all those conversations we've had about basically being like, yeah, I just feel like kids today are like way dumber and like have significantly worse social skills.
Yeah.
This book covers a lot of that.
You know, it sounds like some shit that I think about like 24/7 basically. That the premise of that book. So I actually might myself do that because I bought some books myself recently. Actually, I do want to get into reading again. Most of mine are nonfiction as well. A lot of like philosophical, like life commentaries, like literally that vein. So yeah, no, I might.
I really do. I really should pick one of those like type of nonfiction books and read it, because to me, like if I'm reading a book, like it never made sense to me to read some like nonfiction shit. I'm like why would I read that? Like I'd rather read about like a story or something.
Right.
But too many people like be having profound experiences reading nonfiction books for it not to like mean some shit. So
For sure.
I definitely should.
On that. I grew up.
That shit up.
I read nonfiction growing up, but I read like way more fiction, or at least realistic fiction.
Yeah.
But the purpose of me wanting to get back into reading the way I used to when I was younger was to help
my controller
sharpen my mind. So I figured it'd be better to read like nonfiction in order to do that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there's just so much to learn with nonfiction books.
Yeah, what I learned from
That
this
was
is
sexy.
that almost every theory and belief that I have had about Gen Z and Gen Alpha and about social media has actually already been proven by years of research by psychologists around the world and especially in this country. Social skills are in the dumps for real. They legitimately are, and there's a lot of research to prove it. Anxiety has skyrocketed in the last 10 years. Depression has skyrocketed in the last 10 years. Children's development has slowed significantly.
You know what's interesting about that? I feel like there are way more contributing factors to cause like such like a huge spike in anxiety and depression and stuff. But a big part of me also wonders like what those numbers look like before like mental shit was like really talked about that much.
This
I feel
book
like
covers it.
yeah, because I feel like the whole mental shit is like that's kind of like a recent thing in the past like 10-20 years that like a lot of people have like finally been accepting and talking about openly.
Yeah.
I wonder how long people have been struggling with stuff like this and just gone on undocumented.
So it's obviously not something that was getting tracked for hundreds of years, but in this book, they at least are able to go back as far as the 70s or the 80s in a lot of cases with a lot of these studies. And the book is very self-aware. Like the guy who wrote it, he makes sure to address like counterpoints or counter arguments that you may have. Like I feel like every time I thought of a counter argument or a point or a question that I would have, just to see what his response would be, he acknowledged it in the book and actually had an answer. And one of those things was like how many people, like one of the questions I had was like, okay, but how much of these numbers are like not inflated, but for lack of a better word, inflated because mental health is so much more like of an awareness thing now, like more socially acceptable. Like people are more comfortable with talking about their mental health or lack thereof and being honest with where they're at with that. And he acknowledges that in the book as well and takes that into account. So
damn, sounds fire actually.
Hey!
Yeah, I might gotta check that shit out. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie though, I think there are multiple factors that contribute to this, but I wouldn't say it's been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, but it's almost irrefutable and like damn near conclusive that social media is the reason.
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense to me, honestly. Go shoot that shit. All right, now we're not keeping up with Michaela no more.
Like I said, there's multiple graphs that get shown. Like it's obviously like 98% words in the book, but there are multiple graphs that get shown, and then pretty much every single graph, every like measurable statistic, you see like huge spikes, either upward or downward, depending on what the subject is. In the early 2010s, which is when smartphones really became a thing and everyone had access to constant internet and social media in their pocket.
Yeah, I mean, just like on a base level of this, on the base level of like what the hypothesis of this could be is like, just realistically speaking, the progression of technology was just way too fast, and like our brains.
I don't.
Good hustle.
I have never
saved,
seen that animation in my life.
Me either.
What the fuck was that?
We just like quintuple the acceleration of technology past what our brains can possibly handle. Like I was actually having a conversation the other day with my homie about this shit, about this, but like in this vein. I was like, can you imagine how actually insane like the world we live in is, and how much how our brains are like processing what we see? Because you have to realize like there was a period not too long ago, like pretty recently actually, as far as the entire like history of life, where there were no screens at all. Right? Like, there wasn't even there was no screen at all. And what we were talking about is like how this has like fucked with our dreams. Because could you imagine like what dreams are like before you had movies and music, even before like the bad shit of social media, like this media in general, right? Like what did our dreams look like 100 years ago to where they are now? Because our brains are literally data mines or data banks, because when we see every single, that's why like whenever you see like your brain can't create faces, is one of like the interesting facts about like life is that if you ever see a face in your dream, it's either a combination of somebody you've already seen or someone you did see that you forgot that you saw. Like somebody you saw on the street one day can appear in your dream because your brain has it in there, so you just don't know it.
Yeah, your brain's not capable of creating a unique original face. So anything that you see in your dream is either not what you actually think it is, and it's like something close to it, or is a face that you've already seen before. Exactly.
So like, but you know how many faces we see now? Like, we see an insane amount of faces. It is stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say too, like, we really went from like only really knowing the people in your town and maybe like adjacent towns to like every person on the planet in like 10 years. Like from the 90s to early 2000s, like 2010, like that ramp up is fucking insane, bro.
I was gonna say that's us and our parents.
Yeah, not only that, but like the introduction of smartphones like exponentially increased that exposure. Because before, and again, the book dives into this and talks a lot about it, is that while you had things like video games and computers and, you know, multiplayer online shit and everything like that, you at least had to be at home. You had to be in front of your television or in front of your computer, your desktop computer, for quite some time. But with the introduction of like the iPhone and shit like that, you know, you had access to that stuff all the time, anywhere you went, even when you're not at home. So you're instantly in front of a screen and in front of all these like low quality connections, basically, with millions of people around the world at any given moment. That just serves as a constant distraction for one, and an overstimulation for another.
There's actually a really good game that kind of highlights some of this stuff called Death Stranding. It actually goes into a lot of these things.
It's interesting to me how many pieces of media, and particularly like literature, that have predicted exactly what we are experiencing and is happening, and it's like, why did we not take heed? Like, what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, like, memes aside, like, someone that gets a lot of credit for this, rightfully so, but like a lot of highlighting on them, like, quote unquote predicting and seeing shit coming was it's Kojima, right? Hey, because like Metal Gear Solid 2 has a rant, or not a rant. The entire game's themes is surrounding it. There's a very like particular part of that game where a cutscene happens and they essentially describe every single problem that we're dealing with right now, like almost verbatim. You know?
Yeah, every like worldwide like conflict is like perfectly described in that game towards the end of it.
From like the wars and like power dynamics and like AI stuff, like information wars, like all this shit's like it's just like just word for word in that game. Hey,
oh my fucking god! Why did they quadruple team me? Like what the fuck? Oh my gosh!
But it's funny because a large reason as to why that game had such like an accurate, you know, assessment of what was going to happen, and we're like, because the game is about what's going to happen in the future, etc. It's because like at the time in Japan, they had a lot more of they were exposed to a lot more of this stuff because of their advancement with the internet and like technology and their culture happening before us. So you have this guy in Japan who's like this, all right, I'm ass.
Kojima said.
Yeah, that's what Kojima said, verbatim, actually. But like, yeah, in Japan, like message boards and like all this stuff that we're seeing, like they were doing that way before us, right? Essentially, like it was advanced a lot quicker over there. And that's why like you have like a prolific writer like, you know, Kojima that's able to incorporate this stuff because, you know, of his love for movies and just like, you know, history and so forth. But like they were already like they had foresight on this because this was already kind of happening. Back like in the like late, we had internet and the same shit as them, but like just culturally it was much more important to them earlier than us with like what we have now. But yeah, just to your point about like how much media and like stuff saw this shit, because it's not exactly rocket science to see what was coming if you were already into this like world.
Yeah, I think Like if I was my current age or even a few years younger, like when this stuff was all coming out, I probably would have foreseen this myself. Because like you said, I don't think it would have taken a genius to figure this out, because we've had conversations and I've had theories and beliefs that are proven by the research done by this author and his colleagues and everything, where it's like just by observing my surroundings and just people online, like I feel like I came to a conclusion and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not crazy. Like this has been scientifically proven that exactly what I thought was going on is exactly what's going on.
You're right. Yeah, man, we're like kind of too far gone at this point.
You know why they didn't stop? Because of money? Well, that's another thing that gets touched on in this book. There was a report that came out a while back in regards to Facebook and Meta and Instagram and everything. I think it was there was, I can't remember specifically, but basically what happened is a bunch of screenshots were taken from a presentation and some lawsuit things that were going on with Facebook, where they admitted to, not publicly, but I think privately, but it ended up becoming public, that they were aware of what they were doing and how they were manipulating adolescents and psychologically taking advantage of them in order for profit. Because when you're creating a social media platform, your customers are not the users of that platform, they are the product, and your customers are the advertisers. And so the more you can get people, which in most cases is usually adolescents who are the most impressionable and easily addicted, to stay on your platform as much as possible, the more money you can make through advertising. So
Yeah.
Push timing excellent. Okay, so I'm getting it again. By the way, not to just thank you. Yeah, it's a good point. Am I guarding Dr. J?
No, you gotta nuke the block. My bad, I called time out.
All right. You guarding Slime Time Will. Good luck, man.
And on the surface, it's like, okay, like they were using a intelligent business model, but it's like, it goes beyond just being like, okay, we need kids to be, or we need teenagers to be on this as much as possible so that way we make more money. Like they were aware of these psychological things that they were doing and how they were manipulating people and doing it for profit. Like they knew what they were doing and did it anyway.
I mean, this is the same sort of businesses that would market cigarettes towards children back in the day, so I don't put none past.
Oh, you mean like vape companies are doing right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting
man.
because, you know, Balvin made a comment earlier that's like, we're too far gone. And I think that's a sentiment that a lot of people share, but I don't think we are just yet. And the author of this book doesn't seem to think so either.
Hello?
Because I think there have been many cases throughout history where, you know, new product or invention or technology, an advancement comes along, and we're not aware of the effects that it has on us as people or society or on children or whatever. And eventually you find out and it's like, okay, well, we have to make adjustments now in order to regulate this or, you know, get rid of this or whatever. And I definitely understand why somebody would think like, oh, it's too late. There's not a lot we can do. But I don't think it actually is too late. I think I don't
know how you regulate the internet and like smartphones and shit though.
Well, so you have to implement things like, first of all, it starts like as an individual, right? And it's going to be difficult. But the ideal is eventually it becomes like law that, for example, you have to be 16 to have like social media. And then not only that, because obviously it's already like, in order to have a Twitch account or Instagram account, you're supposed to be 13 years old. But that doesn't get...
It's very loose.
Yeah, it's very loose. It doesn't get enforced. So like the enforcement of like the minimum age restrictions on things like that need to actually be much stronger than it currently is. And then beyond that, the minimum age should also be raised. Because at the age of 13, you're still far too impressionable, so early in your development, and still not really in the psychological state of mind to where you should be exposed to a lot of the stuff that is on the internet and capable of making responsible decisions and, you know, having self-control that's like, okay, I've had enough of this, or I should get off this for the day, or I shouldn't be looking at the, you know what I mean? And at 16, it's like, yeah, you still very much developing, and you're going to be a much different person 10 years later. But there's still a big difference between a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old mentally. And that should be the minimum, like at the very least. And even that goes a long way. And then you do stuff like no phones in schools. Like schools have to actually enforce that you can't have a cell phone, whether that's can't bring it, or they have to get locked up for the day or whatever. And that's things that sound very idealistic and things that like seem unlikely to happen. He presents a lot of ideas and solutions that he has and shit, but I don't think it's actually impossible. I think it's like if more people were to acknowledge that there is an issue and we're willing to try to rectify it, I think it could.
I think one of the biggest reasons why something like that is unfeasible is because I don't know if they touch on this in the book, but like with the way that the economy is set up right now and shit, like if there's like a single mother or some shit working 2 jobs to try to like put food on the table or whatever, and then like her kid is like fussy, or her kid like it's just like being too much and it's just stressing her out or whatever, but like she puts the iPad in front of the kid or some shit, and then like that like just gives her at least a few moments of like reprieve type shit. I feel like because of stuff like that, like that's why this is like would be extremely less likely, because there's people struggling every day.
He does address exactly that in the book, and one of the key concepts or like main themes of the book is an idea he presents where it is basically a play-based childhood versus a phone-based childhood. And people like us, like everyone in this call, we had more of a play-based childhood, but by the time we were teenagers, we all had, you know, phones and social media and everything. But like when we were, you know, in elementary school, smartphones weren't a thing yet, you know what I mean? So even if any of us had phones before the age of like 13, it was like a little flip phone or a track phone or something like that, you know what I mean? Maybe a sidekick. We didn't have just like constant access to high-speed internet and all these apps and shit. But that lack of a play-based childhood is a big reason why there has been basically sure man there has been like slowing in the growth and development of children. Like children aren't learning, like we've all seen it, we've all talked about it, like Gen Z and then let alone Gen Alpha, they are extremely socially inept, and a big reason for that is because of the access to the internet and them having iPads. Like being an iPad kid is a real thing, and like they're very fucked up because of it. And so yeah, he addresses that in the book and is like, I understand, like, because he was like, you know, even when I was raising my children, like there were times where like I'd set my kid down in front of like Teletubbies, and you know, and like he said he gave his son like his first iPhone in like when he was in like the 4th grade or something like that. You know, there's a lot of things that he learned from, and like, you know, speak some things he would do differently, but he said it would have to start in the home. Like parents would have to you know, be what's the word I'm looking for, they'd have to be willing to abide by that themselves and enforce it and start with it at home. I understand how difficult that would be for so many people, but I think a part of that also does come from laziness, and people just being like, well, it's just so easy to set my kid in front of the TV or set them in front of the in front of the iPad and just let the iPad
that's my biggest concern with it, is like the day-to-day stresses of life like weigh people down so much that like, I think people default to that. Even though like when you're raising a human, like the things that you're doing when they're that young like have serious implications for the rest of their lives.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that we're
charging.
At the point. Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like for me, I don't think that I have two things on this. One, the effects that we're gonna see on people's brains on like with the effect when we're not going to see the true effects on people's brain, or even the worst effects like on our brains of humans, of what social media and phones have done to us till like God knows how long from now.
Right, because the things that we have seen, it's like it's not its limit, it's not its peak. Like the things that are spiraling downward are still going, and the things that are going up are still going. It's like it's getting worse.
Right. So I think like for me, I fully believe in the humanity to do basically anything, good or bad, because we're like that's one of my core foundational points of the person, is that like I'm very much like, despite how depressed or, you know, cynical I may be as a person, I am like very much a believer in like how beautiful life is. But only reason why I say I think we're too far gone is that I firmly believe that it's possible to undo the damage that we're doing to ourselves right now. It's just, will we, is the problem. Because I think that a lot of people feel this way. More than probably we can probably give credit for. Like I think a lot of people, except Nuke the Block, he wants to die because he's a bitch. But my bad. I think a lot of people feel this way. But I think more so, I have more faith in the common person to be able to overcome these trials, but I have less faith in like the people that are in power, that overall
Yeah, there's
kind
too
of
much profit to be made.
That and like who has like the most power in the world, who cares about this kind of stuff, beyond just profit, but also just not seeing it like this. Because I mean, look at, you know, the reason like education didn't spiral because, you know, people just got dumber and they had phones. We also just stopped funding it as much, and like there's just not a lot of money economically going into like just public education in general. It's about to get worse because of this next the presidency that's going to happen, and they've like they just don't give a shit.
So he lightly touches on that in the book as well. And you know what's funny about that is that and I think we're both old and young enough to have experience, because again, we basically saw both sides of this. We experienced the play-based and phone-based childhood without being too far gone into the phone-based, right? Yeah. And so you guys were still in school when basically recess used to be a lot longer when we were younger. And recess is something that got shorter and shorter as we got older, until it just didn't exist at some point, and for some people at all. And the reason behind that is because at some point America started falling behind other countries in test scores, and so they wanted to put a bigger emphasis on academics. And so they were like, okay, well, we have to cut corners. Somewhere like school days have to get longer, like, you know, these breaks have to get shorter. And ironically enough, by doing something like cutting out recess, that actually had a negative impact on children's ability to learn and develop, because that free time to play and interact with other children and learn in that way is equally as important as them having their nose buried in a book, if not more so, that early in their development and their education. And so even when they did do stuff, like they unintentionally actually hurt more than they helped by doing stuff like that.
Right.
Also, there's just been like, because like I've done research on some other things, and you know, watched some videos, read some articles and some podcasts. I think I brought this up before, but for some reason they have regressed in the learning techniques that they use in schools in some places, and they're doing stuff that has already been proven to be inefficient or like not functional, and children are struggling to like learn to read and shit like that because they're doing like, you know, we grew up like Sound It Out, and this is like, you know what I mean, shit like that. They don't learn shit like that anymore. It's really weird, like some of the strategies that are used in schools today.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I think I would agree more with the like it's not too late sentiment, but the AI boom has like legitimately made me lose all hope. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't blame you for feeling that way, because the AI shit, when you sit and think about it, can make you feel like really fucking hopeless, and like it's like,
bro, I was reading a Twitter thread. I don't know if you were here for this conversation. I think I had it with Balvin. I was reading a Twitter thread where like it was like, you know, some Gen Z motherfuckers on Twitter talking about how like they use ChatGPT to like have conversations with people because they don't know like how to word what they're trying to say. And this like they're using ChatGPT to write it for them.
And like, it's because they've grown up in this phone-based childhood where they don't know how to communicate with each other. Like they learn how to type out messages and like use emojis and shit. And their ability, like they already struggle to read and write, let alone communicate with other people, because they don't have the social, they never developed those social skills. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I think that growing up with like technology that like autocorrects everything you try to type and shit too, because I've noticed this in myself. My spelling has gotten awful over the years.
Oh my God,
because like,
oh no,
y'all didn't see that.
That sucks. Because like I just be typing some shit, I'm like, autocorrect gonna save my life anyways. So I used to be really good at spelling and grammar and all that other bullshit, but over the years with, you know, using technology all the time, it's gotten a lot worse. And like, I can't even imagine what it would be like growing up like that. Like that's crazy.
I feel you on that. And that's, like I said, that's part of the reason why I wanted to get back into reading and expose myself to more literature, because I feel like when it comes to spelling and things of that nature, I still am fairly good at that. But what I do find myself struggling with a lot is just my general like day-to-day vocabulary, and just being able to find like the right verbiage and just wanting to articulate myself. Like I can't tell you how many times a day I'm like, oh, I can't think of what's the word I'm looking for. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. When that used to be a strong suit of mine. Like growing up in school, I mean, I'm sure like a couple of you guys, like I was an honor student my whole life, AP classes, straight A's. You know, I was someone who was getting top scores like in my state, in my district, and like placing in like the 90 whatever percentile in the country for like standardized testing and shit. Like I was a fairly academically inclined and gifted student, and my strongest and best subjects were anything to do with English, literature, grammar, language arts. And so when I find myself now as an adult struggling to find the right words at times, I'm like, yo, like I don't think I'm getting dumber necessarily, but like my mind has dulled. Like it's just not as sharp, and I feel like reading will help me get back to like where I used to be, and if not even better. But yeah, I definitely feel you on that. So like you said, like for me to have experienced what it was like before and then have technology now kind of make you feel like those senses are being dulled. To grow up in this time period, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, and also the thing for me as well, I'm not completely hopeless on this, because if I was, I'd probably want to die. I'm not gonna lie. Because life to me is life, and like this subject is like a very, very heavy one, because like I think with this shit literally all the time. So I have to have like some like level of hope still that there is way to change this. And I think like literally every other problem that in like the history that felt like impossible to do, the only way to like implement some kind of change in your life is by doing it at home first, right? And like even like talk about this and like have this conversation, I think that we talk about like how the most important like people dealing with this are like
I did not want to shoot that bullshit.
It's like oh my god, is the youth, right? Like we're worried very much about how, because like youth growing up in this is gonna get this like the worst. So we're seeing it like,
yeah, and they're gonna be the hardest ones to like convert or help or fix. But simultaneously, depending on like people who are like, let's say if you're like age 18 to 24 right now, that's probably gonna be the hardest people to like fix. And then also if you're younger than that, like getting them to accept or be willing to acknowledge that there's an issue, and like you can't have this phone as much anymore, or like I'm taking away your iPad, and just where they basically just feel like they're being punished and not able to understand that it's for their own good, even though it kind of feels like it's for no reason. Like you've done nothing wrong, but instead of you having your iPad every day, like you can only have it for an hour a day now.
Right. And but you know what also scares me about, like, because I'm sure in the book, I'm gonna assume they address this like in the book, like it's like phone to school. The phone to school thing is scary because of how much shit happens at school, right? Because like
he does talk about this.
Like how many kids have to fucking call their parents to come like save them during, you know, I'm not gonna just say it explicitly because you know it's traumatic, but any kind of disaster event like that.
He makes a good counterpoint that I've never heard before or considered myself, in that in the events of something like that, I definitely understand of like as the child wanting to be able to contact your family, your parent or whatever, let them know the situation, and at worst like those being your last words to them, right? God forbid. But likewise, especially like if you're younger, like let's say in like elementary schools and middle schools, it is probably better for the adults to be the only ones with those lines of communication than it is for the children to be on their phones and scrambling and not paying attention to their surroundings or listening to what's going on around them. And yeah, he spoke on, it wasn't like a super deep section of the book, but he brought up a point like I had never really discovered, and I was like, yeah, I mean honestly, like especially the younger you are, probably better if you're not on your phone trying to call your parents and actually paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, I do get that, but like even in there was a one that happened like last year that a parent actually came and saved the kids because they couldn't get in contact with anybody else because somebody called they called, I think it was their dad or their mom, but I think it was their dad. It's like somebody's dad like literally went in there and was like a fucking hero.
I think I might have seen this on Twitter or something recently.
Yeah, it was one of the big ones that happened last year. I forget which one it was, and I can't even
that's the fucked up part, right? Because there was multiple.
Yeah, exactly, and I can't say which one. All right, light pressure.
I think a part of me like has such little belief in like in our current government and capitalism and shit like that it makes it hard to believe. And then another part of me is like, Like my sister had a kid, you know, recently within the past few years, and seeing how she's raising her child, like she is taking all of this stuff into account, like with, you know, over reliance on like TV and technology and all that stuff. And I think that, you know, a lot of like our generation and like even Gen Z and stuff, I think there's gonna come a point where if they don't realize it now, they'll realize it eventually, that all that screen time and all that access to the internet and stuff has like completely like rotted their brain and shit. So when they raise their children, they'll have them learn from like their mistakes.
That's how it has to start. You know, you have to be the change that you want to see, and it's easier said than done. And like I said, it's idealistic. Like I wouldn't say I expect things to drastically improve and get better, but I do see a timeline where they can. And or even if we can't save everyone, you can at least prevent it for your own children. And you know, maybe at some point there can be a day where we start taking steps in the right direction to repair the damage that has been done psychologically to everybody. I mean, you know, there have been times in the past where we would think like, oh, it's too late now, like ain't no fixing this, and things have been fixed. Like,
yeah. And what I was gonna say too, before the phone thing, I mean, for the school thing, was like, we talk about kids a lot because, you know, again, they're gonna get the worst part of this, and that's important. But we often, like, I won't say ignore, we forget, and I think this we've addressed it like this. We forget how this affects us already, right? How like we and what we can do to like better ourselves to then help others. Because like one thing I talked about on my stream a while back was that the assimilation of social media and how it's begun to like, you got to think about how this, like having a For You page or a Real page fucks with, like, you know, kids, bro. Think about your dad or your mom or your grandparents that go on Facebook. Like they have
that's
For You
facts.
page on there too. There, right now,
completely false information too.
It's false information, and then they're also addicted to it too because it's like the easiest thing to use. And like,
yeah, my sister used to have a crippling Facebook addiction. She was on it all the fucking time.
Yeah. And like
the book addresses that as well, like being addicted and not even realizing how addicted you are, and just the amount of screen time that people have and may not even think that it's a big deal, but when you consider like the past, you know, it's
yeah, because it's non-committal and it's like super easy to do. So like I be catching my pops when he just be on Facebook like real or for like all the time, and I'm like, I get it, because what's scary now is that we all see the same shit, and that should not be a thing. Because like X amount of years ago, even with social media, right? What my pops and my mom saw on Facebook was totally different than what I saw on my page. But now with like algorithms and like stuff like that, the same way that TikTok has like, you know, like a fucking random 2-minute Family Guy clip and a random movie and then a random political thing, like we all see the same shit now. So it's like my pops might know about fucking Tory Lane because he saw a video about it on his fucking For You page. Because it's all catering to just like random stuff to keep you like losing your fucking phone.
It's literally turning people into zombies.
Yeah, and then, but this shit is not just catering towards like kids. Like it's supposed to get you through all walks of life. Cause think about your fucking grandparents too. Because it's so easy to it's a scroll, and you get a video. It's so easy to like to do. But
yeah, I don't know if there's like an exact number you can use to quantify at what point it's an addiction, like if you have this many hours of screen time. But I know that personally, my screen time on like my phone, for example, has gone up a lot since Pokemon Pocket came out, because I genuinely like that game, so I played a decent on my phone. But once I saw how much my screen time increased, I stopped playing it as much, I'm not gonna lie. And now I'm, you know, mostly doing it for content or whatever, but there was a video I remember watching on Twitter. It was like Bronny James, and I don't know if it was like his high school teammates or his college teammates. It was probably his college teammates. And whoever was recording the video was asking like what their screen time was, like their weekly screen time on their phone or whatever. And for me, whenever I get the little notification, like mine would be like 2 to 4 hours, which I feel like is a perfectly reasonable amount of like averages or whatever. There was niggas on there that had like double digits, and I'm like, yo, that's addiction. And
I think it's because a lot of people, like, their phone is their primary device. Like, they don't really use computers or anything like that. They're just on their phone.
Right, and I realize
time.
I'm at my computer all the time. So if you incorporate that, my screen time was way higher. Now my justification, because of course you're always going to have some sort of justification for your own behavior compared to somebody else's. But this is my job. I do this as a career. This is what I do for a living, and also for leisure/pleasure. So it's like mine are like inflated as everyone's in these calls. But that would be my counter argument. It's like, it's different if you're doing something productive with it and this is like your job or your career or whatever. But like if you're just casually on your phone for 8 to 10, 12 hours like that is addiction.
Yeah. And the scary thing too is like with that is, even if it is, because I would classify that as addiction as well, because I mean that's just what it is. But the scary shit about that is it's easy to be addicted whenever that literally is your life to you, right? Like everybody you know, all of your what would be like your local neighbors or your friends at school, or even your friends at school, because this is the fucked up part about this whole thing and like just technology in general, right? Is that almost every single major invention in this regard is like quite literally well, we can lock in, I guess. Hold on. I have to steal. Stuck. Good try.
Good try, yeah. I'm gonna hop on my inside.
Every major like breakthrough in technology, even the smartphone in general, like it is a product of how unbelievably incredible our minds are, that we can conjure and create such cool things, that we have access to being able. This fucking call we're having right now, like we're all in like across the country in different places and different times, and we're able to talk to each other instantly, like while we're playing this big fucking video game. It's incredible, right? That we've advanced this far to be able to do this, from sending pigeon messengers, and stuff like that. But the problem with that, or the other side of it, is that, oh shit, now that we have the option to do this, if you take away one of these motherfuckers' phones, they don't just start itching because like, oh, I gotta get my screen time. They can't talk to nobody no more. Because like everybody they know is in that thing. And that's not good, by the way. But like it's a weird, like you have like a buffet of food to eat, and you're never not hungry anymore. Because it's like it's your brain that you're constantly like it can't be satiated, right? Because unlimited access is not always good, as you can obviously see. How like we respond to being able to have the option of like, man, I can sit here on my shift at 4 o'clock in the morning, nobody's awake, everybody's asleep. I could either just sit here, I could there's some music, I could maybe watch a long movie or a TV show in the background, I could whatever, or I could just check all my socials and like scroll through the page over and over and over and over and over again and not commit to anything but kill time.
Yeah.
You do that over and over again and you're like, oh shit, I didn't even realize that I can't live without this now. And is it because like I can't physically live without it because like what else am I supposed to do? Or is it because you've tricked your brain into like this, without this you're nothing? And I don't know. I think I also am trying to work on my my screen time, because I know I use my shit all the time.
Hey, real quick, I have to run to the bathroom. I'll be back.
Okay.
I think the craziest thing about like stuff like social media and shit is that if you go a prolonged period of time without it, you genuinely like feel so disconnected from the world, bro. Like you don't know what the fuck's going on. Like when I uninstalled Twitter and I was only like on Blue Sky, I felt like there were so many things I was just like not in the know about. And it's like, yo, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It creates that dependency too.
100%, because like everything is happening all the time. Like
everything everywhere all at once, some might say.
That's what I thought. Sorry about that too. Shit is always happening. Shit is never not happening. I mean, we were having this conversation a while back about how like I really hope and pray that we never lose the movies. Because we were very close to losing. We were very close to losing the movies during COVID. But I pray we never lose the movie because that shit almost feels like a glimpse into the past. That like you go into a place where you're not supposed. Some niggas do use their phones, which is kind of but you go in there and you're supposed to not use your phone and have not even talked that loud for 2 hours, and you're fully engrossed in a different world. No distractions. You have to pay attention to this one thing, and you're just completely gone from reality for X amount of time. Like,
we really don't have anything like that at all outside
bro,
of the movies.
It's just the movies. Like, every sporting event now is still social media based. You're gonna take a picture of you at the game with your seats. You're gonna record it because you don't want to forget it. You go to a concert. You're gonna take a picture of it. You're gonna record it because you want to. They have it forever. Like everything is that, and except the movies, because you can't, like, you're not even now. Obviously, not everybody abides by these rules. Because I don't know about you niggas, but I'm seeing niggas post clips of Sonic 3 on my timeline with like.
And
the
even when I
last
go
fight
to the
scene.
movies, I see people like phone on full brightness. By the way, they just like texting on Snapchat. I'm like, bro, is nothing sacred anymore?
Nothing. No, absolutely not.
And not for nothing, chat. It's a bunch of your fucking generation. I want to be that guy, but
it definitely is. But yeah, so like all this shit considered, like a majority of the people in there are still going there for that like movie theater experience. And like, I don't know, man. It's like I think the movie. Oh, the point I'm making is that feeling of coming out of the movies and being like, damn,
what the fuck happened in the world when I was gone?
Bro, I wasn't even there. I wasn't living for a little bit. Like, this shit crazy. But it almost feels like good. Like, come on, a little euphoria. Or a little
Euphoria. My bad.
The superpowers getting neutralized. Like, yeah, it's a bit of euphoria. It's almost like a cleanse from your mind. Because like you don't even realize how be like, damn, I was gone. Like, I wasn't using this bitch. Funny, actually, I had when we were having this talk last time on 2K, I was thinking, I think Nova said she had a little lockbox for her phone. She puts it in every now and then just to like take time away. I was like, damn, low key, everybody should have one of those things. I'm not gonna lie. To just
That's one of those things that I really commended from afar, though. I'm on Twitter. Gotta check in, but yeah, it's cool. Like I really I genuinely think that's like something that a lot more people should at least consider. Yeah, for sure.
Because
my screen time on my phone is like pretty negligible. But that's because I'm on my computer 18 hours a day. So yeah, but honestly, on my days off though, like I'm really not on my you can't really count that though, because I might be like watching some TV with Lena or something, or like watching a stream on the TV or whatever. But I don't even know if you count that, because that's still screen time too.
It is screen time still, but also you have to like take into consideration like what life is at this point. And like that is life. Like that is a large part of life for a lot of people. Like, but I think still some people can't even sit down, and I'm guilty of this a lot of the time too. Some people can't even sit down and do that. Just watch a movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I love watching a movie, man. Oh like, man, ain't nothing better.
Because some niggas can watch a movie without fucking being on their phones or checking.
I was gonna say, yeah, that right there. Like some niggas, that's why like I think the theater is such a wholesome experience we have still, because even whenever you're at the crib watching a movie, a lot of niggas be on their phone, like because you can do that. Like it's not you're free to do that, but you're not like it's not the same experience as just watching the movie and that's it.
Hey fellas,
yo,
I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. Actually,
all right, bro.
All right, brother.
You staying up, Omega?
Yeah, I think so, unless y'all are getting off as well.
No, I can play another one.
I'll play another. Okay.
All right. I was very much enjoying our conversation, but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up for the night. This is something I'd like to touch back on at some point if y'all are willing.
Yeah, bet.
And if any of you do ever get around to checking out this book, let me know, because I'd love to discuss it more.
Could you put the name of it in the Discord again? So
I got you.
Have it.
It's there you go.
Appreciate it.
All right. I'll catch y'all later. Later stream.
All
Appreciate
right,
y'all.
GM, bro.
Easy gang.